able to do this time. And thank you to all of you for being here at Pushkin House this evening for this discussion. We've got about an hour and a half, so we'll try to keep this fairly straightforward. I will try to provoke Mikhail into saying some things that maybe aren't in the book, and then give you the opportunity to provoke them further with your own questions. And I think we'll have a lot of fun in the process. When I first saw the book, obviously I first saw it in Russian when it came out in Russian, and if you haven't seen it, it's this. And I was quite happy both when I saw the book, but also when I learned that it would be coming out in English, because I thought finally a book about Russian politics that doesn't have Putin on the cover, right? So of course, it comes out in English and makes a fool out of me. But that does provoke a question. Actually, the subtitle on the book in Russian is A Short History of Contemporary Russia. The subtitle on the book in English is Inside the Court of Vladimir Putin, and it may just be that Putin sells better than history on bookshelves in the United Kingdom and the US. But I also wonder whether there's a recognition in it. One of the things that I've heard some people say when they read the book, and something I was thinking about myself, is that maybe is there too little Putin in the book?
Thank you. Okay, I'll reveal some of the secrets about the names. Actually, all the Kremlin's men was my initial name on the book, but when I was writing the Russian title, I wanted it to be Придворная история России. So it's a bit closer to the English. That was history of Russian course. Not so ambitious as short history of one Russia. That's way too much. But my Russian publisher, who didn't want the word Putin to be in the title, and who didn't want Putin's face to be on the cover, and I understand. Probably that might be one of the reasons why the book is being sold in most bookstores. And I understand why there is Putin's face. Actually, I appreciate the taste of the publisher, because let's say the Polish version or Hungarian version have big Putin's face and nothing apart from it. But you know, this book is not about Putin. It's not Putin's biography. And I never wanted to write a book about him. That's more about, if we speak about the protagonist, that's right in the title. It's all about all the Kremlin's men. It's about collective Putin. It's about the army of Russian bureaucrats who are running the country for many years, and actually they are going to stay after Putin is gone. So I think that's much more important than Putin exactly himself. There is not much about Putin's life before 1999, because sometimes it's not very important. Although I tried to pick the most important things and not to focus on his personal life, because sometimes his personal life has nothing to do to political issues, and that's not much about his personal friends, let's say. I mention them from time to time, but as I usually describe it, in Russia there are two important circles of people surrounding Putin. People of Saturday and people of Sunday. People of Saturday are the members of Security Council. That's the new Russian Politburo that comes to his residence in Novoogarevo every Saturday They discuss real political issues. Sunday people, they're his friends. They're coming for barbecue, and they discuss business. And all those Timchenko, Kovalchuk, Rottenberg, they are Sunday people, and they actually cannot. They would like to influence key political issues, but they have not much influence, and they would like to have all of their assets abroad, but cannot. So that was a deliberate decision to lessen the Putin's amount, because a lot of books about Putin already exist, even much more than they should be.
Certainly agree about that, but is there an argument to be made that as we see the book covers a little bit the dismissal of the appointment towards the end, right? It obviously the resignation or the dismissal of Sergei Ivanov after the book was published. We see this sort of rotation. We see replacements with people who are very much people of the system, or sometimes we see people coming in like Vassilieva, Minister of Education. We see ideologues coming in of different kinds, actually increasingly of one kind. And in that context, right, is this system becoming more Putin-centric than it was when he finished it?
I really see no difference. I really see no new generation, and I'm absolutely sure that that's the same process that we've been watching all of these years. Because all the people who were appointed by Putin during his first presidential term were his close friends. They were people whom he got used to work with. He worked with them throughout the previous decade, like in the 90s and something, in the office of the governor of St. Petersburg. And that's why he appointed them to the key positions in his presidential administration. He appointed his personal secretary, bodyguard, Igor Sechin, to be first head of his protocol, then vice prime minister, then head of Rosneft. What's wrong with appointing bodyguard as a governor? What he does now is the same thing. He spent the previous decade, the first decade of this century, with people who were surrounding him. He got used to them. He spoke to them every day. He trusts them, and that's why he appoints them to those key positions. So that's the same thing what was happening to him during the first terms. Plus, we all know that those old pals, like Sergei Ivanov, sometimes we're not happy with the position they held. We know that many of members of Putin's inner circle were and are constantly begging him to let them go. Not everyone is lucky enough to be released. Ivanov is lucky. Many people know that since Sergei Ivanov became the head of Kremlin administration, he was trying hard to abstain from taking any decision, not to make any mistake, not to do anything. So now he's the lucky man. He can he keeps his privileges, he keeps his keeps everything, and he's in charge of traveling to the national parks, watching leopards, keeping mice, most actually. So that's not any new team. That's the same Putin's team. So the system is not more Putin oriented as than it used to be, in my mind.
One more last question, I promise, about Putin. Since the book really fundamentally isn't about the man, but to a certain extent is about the system. If you read some of what others have written, including we were talking earlier, people like Pavlovsky, you sometimes get a picture of somebody, Putin, somebody who started off politically as being somewhat insecure, maybe not very confident in his own abilities as a public politician, confident in his own personal popularity, obviously as the image that he was to project, but internally maybe only really began to believe in his own luck, in his own star, somewhat more recently around things like Crimea. And yet, even when we don't see Putin outright in the book, one of the things that struck me in the stories of the other people in the court is how much everybody seems to always be off balance. Everybody always seems to be caught by surprise. Everybody always seems to, almost everybody, there's a couple of exceptions we'll come back to in a moment, but almost everybody at some point seems to put a foot wrong and find themselves on the wrong side of a calculation at some point. And the image that I get from that is of a Putin who is actually very much in control. Because if it's not Putin that is catching them off guard, if it's not Putin that is making their lives unbalanced and unpredictable, and thus to a certain extent keeping them under control, then who is it, or is it something that's just about the system itself?
You know, that's, I would say that it's possible to make this conclusion or quite the opposite. If the person is trying hard to be in control, or to seem like he's every single moment in control, doesn't mean that he's very very safe and very certain about his stability or not. The same thing if he's a strong leader. Is he? Usually he's described by, especially by Western media, as very strong leader who knows what he's doing and who can impose his vision.
That's what Trump said.
Usually, I've always thought that strong leader is a personality who can take unpopular decisions and who can persuade the society, like, let's say, Anwar Sadat or Charles de Gaulle or anybody who wouldn't care much about some painful steps, which he's sure are right. That's not about Putin, actually. He really cares about staying popular, and he really cares about being supported by population, by his inner circle, by everyone in his administration and in this bureaucratic army. He's not challenging them all. That's what Khodorkovsky says in the book. You shouldn't shout at the soldiers when they're on the parade. You can pick on the weakest link and shout at him. If Putin tries his best to remain in control, if he really spends some time every day reading transcripts of conversations between members of his administration, everyone knows that they are listened to. They cannot afford saying anything sensitive about him. Does it mean that he is totally in control or not?
Well, that puts on to the next question, which is whether there are untouchables in the system. Because you mentioned Sechin earlier. One of the more interesting stories politically in the last few weeks was around the privatization of Russian, in which Putin professed some surprise at the end that it had been privatized by Rosneft. After Sechin had said, I want the company, and the government says, you're not going to have the company, and then Sechin says, I say, you still want the company, and the government says, here, have the company, right? Some people began to, some commentators, both inside and outside of Russia, began to say, well, you know, Sechin is now going to run into his Ukrainian moment, where he's going to cross a line at which, after which he becomes more of a liability. He's challenged the integrity of the system. Similar things have been said more often than I can count about Kabirov, who also shows up towards the end of the book quite spectacularly. Most recently, with mixed martial arts with children and things like that, but other stories that have come up throughout the years, everybody wonders, well, where is the red line that Kabirov can cross? Where is the red line that Sechin can cross? And we begin to get the sense that maybe there are some people for whom there are no red lines. And maybe that speaks to what you're saying about how powerful the man, the president, really is, the position of the president really is. But as we look at these stories in the light of the picture that you're painting, and I do get the sense reading the book that somehow Sechin and Kabirov felt more confident, maybe Sechin more than Kabirov, but both of them seemed a bit more confident, a bit more in control of their own lives than a lot of the other characters in the book. I wonder how you think we should interpret these kinds of TVs.
I think that's important to if we're judging how vulnerable or how untouchable any politician is, we should perfectly know what are the personal relationships between him and Putin. And as far as we know, on the personal level, Sechin never seems to be bold. He never seems to be disrespectful or unloyal. He's the symbol of loyalty. He's the symbol of bureaucrat who always obeys to every side of his boss, and it seems like that's the role model that Zygar also follows. We have recently seen another case of the man who, for some years, seemed to be very powerful and seemed to be very effective. Probably even more effective than Sechin. And that was the logic. But actually, if we ask anybody in Kremlin or in the White House, what was the weakest part of his performance, that was loyalty. He was supposedly blamed for being too much active in his self-promotion and not very active in the promotion of his boss. He was much more focused on himself, and probably that's the explanation why he lost the key position in Kremlin. So probably the rule is still the same. Loyalty is important.
This is the man who's most famous probably for saying that without Putin there is no Russia. It's a high bar.
You must no, in loyalty there is no there are no achievements that you achieved once and do not have to repeat anymore. You have to prove every day that you are loyal, and only provided that you are treated as a good bureaucrat. You can cut off your arm, and then in 5 years you'll be fired for prison. That means nothing.
Very quick to run out of arms. Okay, let me take a break there and open it up to the audience. If we can make this with questions, which short, point, and question mark.